Welcome to episode 10 of season 2 of our Darlington podcast, where we explore the heart and soul of Darlington through its local independent businesses and the people that make it truly special. I'm James Carver, alongside my brother Henry, and we're here to shine a spotlight on our beloved town. Join us as we sit down with passionate local people to delve into their stories and uncover the unique contributions they make to our community and find out more about the town where we live. Get ready to be inspired by the people and the stories that make Darlington special.
Very good. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. Better than you by the sounds of it.
Yeah. I've just got this cold that just won't go away.
Dry January's going well.
Dry January is the reason that I've got this cold. Yeah. I haven't had a cold for about 10 years.
Not only that, but also you've taken up a new hobby.
Yeah. Well, I think we briefly mentioned this, didn't we? Running.
Yeah.
5K a day. I set myself a little goal in January to, obviously run 5K every day. Yeah. And so far, so good. Yeah, on day 22 today, is it?
And there's been some snow and there's been some ice.
There's been snow, ice, and I've been under the weather. So I'm actually quite pleased with it.
Have you got a routine do you go out in the morning and do it? Or do you just fit it in whenever you can?
Just fit it in whenever I can. Yeah.
So I saw on your Instagram stories that you decided to run around Hyde Park, which was yesterday, which was slightly more than 5K.
I did, yes. Hyde Park is quite big. So I ended up doing 8.6 kilometres and I was a bit late for the meal that I was due to be at 6:30.
But a good trip to London?
Yeah, very good. Very good trip. It's always nice to go down and learn from the best of the best in the estate agency world. Yeah. And picked up a few little golden nuggets that we can bring back to our own business.
Excellent.
Which is fabulous. Episode 10 of Series 2. That is episode 20 in total.
Yeah.
But you still couldn't work out the mic this morning.
No, doing a mic check. I got told off because I didn't know what I was doing. Sorry.
He was sat about 3 feet away. We were like, James, a bit closer, please.
Yeah, but we feel like we know what we're doing now.
So this is the last episode of the current series.
Yes.
Yeah. And Series 3 around the corner. Are we?
Yeah. Let's keep going. Give the people what they want.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Who would have thunk it?
I know.
Series 3 around the corner.
It's enjoyable, and I think the feedback I've been getting from friends, family, just fans on the street who stopped me, that it's been really, really positive.
Yeah, absolutely.
We enjoy the conversations we're having, and if that's as much as enjoyment we get out, and that's fine by me.
Absolutely, as long as we're enjoying it, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
You've been busy over the last week or two.
Yes, can't remember what's been going on. Been a little bit of a whirlwind. We went to meet the guys at St Teresa's Hospice last week, which was really nice to have a look around their facility there and hear about what they're doing. Met the CEO, but also the chair of trustees. Just have a little chat. We might be doing something sort of Carvers to support them. Also agreed to come on the podcast to have a chat about the charity and the amazing work that they're doing, but also the struggles that they've got with regards to fundraising and lack of volunteers. So hopefully we can shine a spotlight on them. Been to Longfield School again last week as part of sort of a mentor role with students for a project called the Big Project, which is sort of ultimately giving ideas on what the Darlington Town Centre can be like in 2040. So that's enjoyable. Some interesting thoughts.
Yeah, fabulous.
What about you? What have you been up to?
Oh, not a huge amount. Obviously went down to London yesterday, and just trying to fit in as much as I possibly can in terms of work, family life, and the running that I'm doing. So, not a huge amount. But should we get straight into the guest?
Absolutely.
Today we're joined by Scott Akoz, photographer, videographer, and Darlington enthusiast. Originally from York, Scott's journey into photography started in 1998 with his first paycheck, and by 2005 he was a full-time pro. He moved to Darlington in 2006 as a bicycle courier for Greenlink, commuting from York, before making the town his home in 2007. Scott's seen Darlington evolve, whether it's the high street, the growing caffe culture, or the town's green spaces. He's captured it all through his lens, moving into video production and promo work along the way. Let's talk about the changing face of Darlington, the local community, and of course Scott's love for for freezing moments in time through photography. Scott, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much. How are you doing?
Very well indeed, yeah. I would like to say that we're well prepared for this, and we've had you booked in for, several months.
It's been ages.
It's been ages.
About it, I just remembered yesterday.
I know. Well, thanks for reminding me that you were coming on. So, genuinely, really pleased to have you on.
Good to be here. It's lovely to see the space, actually.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's quite a decent setup, isn't it?
Yeah. Can I ask the first question?
Yes.
Pizza saves lives.
does.
Tell me more. That's his T-shirt. I'm not just saying it randomly.
It's a T-shirt that my wife bought me for Christmas, and I absolutely love it. Don't know the full background of the company, but they are a bespoke kind of like what's the word, artisanal T-shirt maker down, I think down Wales way, and I probably should have been a bit more up to date on it, but it's totally fresh. But Kelly was looking for some new like clothes for me.
Original clothing.
I'm a bit raggy, so
yeah.
New T-shirts were on, and she'd spotted a few things. She could have got this special mystery box, and then anyway, she ended up buying a couple of T-shirts, and I love them because I love big prints. I love the old school. It's kind of like a bit like late 90s, early 2000s. You know, big prints, big stuff. Yeah. Let's go. And so she's like, that's gonna suit Scott.
It.
I like a little bit of a baggy fit as well. So
yeah,
nice, quite nice. Yeah, but pizza's my favourite food.
Yeah,
like. That was a joke at school, but it actually is my favourite food.
Yeah.
I mean, I love steak. We're going too far. Pizza saves lives. I don't know the ethos around it, but I love pizza. So it fits in nice.
Good start. Yeah. Love it. I'm hungry.
And do you know where I've not been yet?
Where?
Stable Hearth. And you had your wrap party there, didn't you?
You're joking?
Yeah.
I was there last Friday.
Seriously.
It's amazing.
It's one of those where I'm just like, I need to go, I want to go. And then kind of like, I live outside of Darlington, so we moved to Darlington 2007, and then I say I'll explain later, but then we moved out to Fishburn, where my wife is from originally, and so I'm 15 miles out, so it's kind of like when you're choosing where to go, it's 10 miles to Durham, 15
somewhere
to
a bit
Darlington.
closer.
So and eating out is kind of like for rich people. So so you were there last week.
I was there last Friday.
And you're going tonight as well.
I'm not going tonight. Yeah, we'll go. We need to tick that off your bucket list, and you will return.
It
is genuinely the best pizza
award-winning,
ever.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So sorry, but I will be there.
So 1998 was when it all started. Tell us how it all started.
School dropout, like I will do. Like
let's go through it.
Well, I was at school, right, and I've told this story a few times in the past, but I remember going for careers advice, and they were going, right, okay, so what do you want to do, Scott? I wasn't very academic. I was a little bit pants, like couldn't really get my head around stuff, and I was a bit of an annoying student. And so I kind of struggled with getting somewhere with education. And I was not really in bottom sets, but I wasn't in the top sets. You know, when you're like a middle of the roader, but because you're a middle of the roader, you kind of get a bit left out and lost, and you just kind of got to navigate your own way, which ended up kind of like building who I was. But careers advice, and I was like, oh, nice one, careers advice. Okay, so what do I actually want to do? Right, I love architecture. I love buildings. I'd love to be an architect. Either that or like stock market, man. They're making like bare cash. So let's get on the stock market. So I'm there chatting to this woman. She's like, okay, so what do you want to be? Well, maybe either an architect or I'd like to work on the stock market. She's going, okay. Right, I'm having a look at your figures, but you do know it's going to be a lot of effort and work to put in to get to where you want to be. I said, of course, yeah, I get that. Like, we're at school, this is like choosing our future and stuff, and let's go. Like, I want to do this. And so she's looking, going, okay. And then she's going, all right, well, have you ever thought about the army? Sorry, what? Sorry, have I thought about the army? What do you mean? Well, there's some great pathways in the army to, for a career. And I'm going, oh, no, I haven't really considered that before. So, and we must have been in year 9 or year 10. I don't know if it was that. But in the naivety of being a young person at school, it's literally the army is sending someone in to recruit people to join the army, not actually give careers advice.
Yeah.
So I was straight away like, oh, well, I'm not going to be those things I want to be, and I don't want to go in the army, so, well, I'll just leave school then, and I'll just get a job. And, like, my mum and dad had split up, so I was living with my mum and my sisters, and it was like, well, get a job or stay in education, and I'd not done any of the process for college and all that, so I got a job at Terry's Chocolate Factory. On like a temp agency, only because a couple of the other lads that left school were like, oh, we're temping at Terry's Chocolate Factory. You can eat all the chocolates you want. I'm like, yes, let's go. Right, okay, right. So I'm there, Brook Street. Right, how can we do this? I'd like to work at Terry's Chocolate Factory, please. Straight away, like next week, I'm like packing chocolates in trays, and then a week later, I'm like, is this literally it?
Is
this
like
my life?
One for me, one for you, sort
Seriously,
of thing.
It was crazy times, right? But I actually worked on So I'd come in as a temp, and then they ended up doing like the machines to fill the trays.
Yeah.
Like how crazy is life when you think like people had jobs putting chocolates in trays, and it is like the craziest thing. Like, isn't that such a boring manual job? But then of course, like for some people, that's great because I can just do this all day and I can get my pay and all that.
Yeah.
But I was on the machine testing team, which were doing the suctions to put the chocolates into the trays automatically. Of course, I didn't really, naive again, 16-year-old lad at Terry's Chocolate Factory, and then all the people down, it was called the M1, the fastest line in the building. And they're all like this. Yeah. Not talking, because, of course,
They're going to be out of jobs.
Taking your job away from me because I'm making this machine work. And then it's like, oh, okay. Anyway, I got sick of that. I got moved to the waste room, sorting out the waste. Did you know that actually a lot of the waste that wasn't good enough to sell in the waste shops went for pig feed? So then they just sent it off to farms and fed the pigs to fatten them up.
Really?
So I was got absolutely sick of that, and I went back to Brook Street, and I'm like, right, I can't do this anymore. Have you got anything else? And they're like, oh, well, we've got some customer services jobs in well, it's general accident, but they're just merging soon. They're going to be CGU. Get me in there, working in an office. I can do typing. I can speak on the phone. And I had a job in an office, and it was an office job for absolutely ages, like years down the line. Comfortable, put a bit of weight on. It's like, yeah, life is good. It's all good. I'm getting my paycheck. And I wanted to be a financial advisor, so I was going to be working towards my FPC qualification. And then, because I'd not really because I'd been that time out of, like, I'd just been doing loads of, like, admin and stuff, and then kind of, like, you get out of the rhythm of academia, of learning, and it's like, oh, I'm just earning money now. I can just go and earn money and go and do my job. I then had to, like, it was a bit of a kickstart back into learning again. And so I went, right, I'm going to be a financial advisor, and I'm going to work out what, financial markets are like, and investments and pensions and stuff like that, savings. And so I started that process of going through there. So I was out of the office every now and again. I could go and do my FPC training. This is good. I don't have to be on the phones. I don't have to be putting policies in force or whatever. And so I started that. But then kind of like things changed a little bit as I went through from there. And so I was in the office. And then I ended up like basically getting a bit sick of that as well. And I was like, oh. But this wasn't the thing that triggered the moment of why I left that job. There were a few different things that I ended up doing that was like the change in my circumstances, the change in my mind and my headspace and stuff. And anyway, tell you a short version of the story. I ended up, I was with this lass went on holiday. She went and pulled with someone else. I was upset. It was bad. She came back, and then she ended up going, we were all on like this staff night out from the office. And it's like, yay, it was close to Christmas. Everyone was having a few beers and that. Everyone was well Larry and fun and yay, good times. But then this lass that had done the dirty on me on holiday ended up going off with someone else that night. And it was the guy that I was mates with, it was his mate that had come out. And I was like, oh, why are you bringing him out here when he's gone off with my missus? Anyway, it's like counselling this, isn't it? Sorry, it's nothing to do with Darlington, just my life here. And we're already in like 1999. No, I'm joking. No, we must be like in 2002 now. And anyway, we'd gone out, and I'd fallen out with the guy, and I told him, you better not be trying to pull my missus, and then like giving him all a bit of a rough up, like, oh, you better not be getting up in my face, and because this is my girlfriend. And then my mate who'd brought his mate then says, oh, what are you having a go at my mate for? And we ended up having a fight. I ended up like proper smashing him up, and it was bad times, lost my temper massively. Ended up getting like community service for actual bodily harm. So it was, you might have to cut some of this out because I'm not sure if I want it to go in. It's going in, isn't it? I mean, it's public information, I guess. So I really lost it, but I was in a really bad mental space, bad headspace, like kind of like not knowing where I want to go in life and what I want to do. So we're talking maybe 2002 here, 2003. I'd maybe taken on quite a bit of debt at the time. I'd bought a car. Seriously, we can go all day with this. But another mate who I'd gone and bought this car, and my mate was telling me this car was mint, let's get it, we got it. And then anyway, that ended up getting stolen. I'd got a loan out on that car. It stolen and crashed, got written off, and the money, and I didn't then pay the loan off with the thing. So I was mounting my debts, and I kind of like didn't get very good advice, and I think that's just kind of part of like growing up and being at school. No one ever tells you how to deal with money, how to, you know, someone goes, oh, I remember HSBC, I was like, right, I need a loan for a car, but I'm not going to buy a brand new one, I'll buy a second hand. And I just want a loan, and they're like, okay, no worries, like $4,000 or something. And then they're like, do you want a credit card as well? I was like, no, not really, what for? Well, just in case you need one. Well, okay, fine. Thanks. Yeah. And I must have been 18 at that time, so I'm tracking back a bit. And then you go on holiday and it's like, oh, it's all right, we'll get this and we'll do that and we'll pay for that on the card. And then you've got and then things kind of mount up and money builds, and then things get a bit out of hand and you're like, oh my God, this is not good at all. So I was maybe under pressure with that, and it all built up, and it kind of came to this head of like, I had this big fight, I got arrested, I got to do community service because I was a bad lad and I'd knocked someone out and really done them bad. So that was like the start of like really, it's like this weird sort of like loop in my life where I'm like, this is not good, life's not good. So I'm like, I need to change, I need to do something different. And I was doing community service, but I was on like a trust because they say, we've got trust in you, you don't have to go and clean the streets, you can work in a care home, which was really good for me, like as rehab, to go, yeah, this is actually, I should be a better person, I should be kind of like reinventing myself in a sense. Now, I wasn't doing this actively in my own brain, but I must have been going through this at that time.
So there wasn't like a definitive defining moment where you just went,
yeah,
snap,
I didn't like wake
let's
up and
change.
go, I did snap that night.
Yeah, of course.
And lost it.
Yeah.
And that must have been the point at which I went, things can't carry on like this.
Yeah.
And debts were building, and then it was crazy because I was getting into this kind of like endless cycle of trying to pay my credit cards and my debts off and stuff, and then I was in work, but then I wasn't quite making enough to do stuff, so it was a bit of a struggle. Parents not together, so I didn't really have anyone to go, can I just borrow some money off you now? And my mum didn't have money, my dad didn't have money, and so it's just like, and I've got 4 sisters, so I had 2 older, 2 younger, so my life kind of like, there's no one really to go to. Anyway, I'm just trying to think about how it worked, because I remember it was like I'd got to this point in my office job where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Had the fight, got done, had to then go off and like rehab, and I was then kind of like, oh, that was it. Yeah, I'd been like dismissed from work, so I was out of work. And at that point, I'm like, oh, how am I going to pay these debts? And anyway, I ended up getting a job in like a warehouse. I was like, right, I'm just going to just shut off the world. I don't want to be talking to people on the phones. I don't want to be interacting face-to-face, customer. So I got a job in a warehouse. Thankfully, it was my sister's boyfriend at the time was just like, yeah, come on, we'll get you in. He was driving us there and stuff. And so it was like I did about 6 to 8 months in the warehouse, but at that time I wasn't getting paid half as much as I was getting paid. So debts were building up, and I defaulted on a payment, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. And you're scared, and you're going, who can I talk to? No, I can't really talk to anyone, can I? Like, this is stupid. I can't believe that. Like 15, 16, 17,000 pounds or something. It's not a big amount of money, but it was then in 2000 where I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
How have I ended up with this sort of like, where I'm at in life? Chatting to one of the guys in the warehouse, he says, just bankrupt yourself, man. Just write it off and make a fresh start. And I'm like, that's really bad though, isn't it? Like, being bankrupt, man, that's really, really bad. He says, well, it's not really, because what you're doing is you're just admitting to the fact that you can't go on anymore, because ultimately they're just going to keep chasing you, and they're going to come to you, and then they're going to come to your parents' house, and they're going to try to reclaim the money. So anyway, ended up bankrupting myself in 2004, and like wrote off the debts, and everything that I'd bought that I hadn't paid got taken back away and stuff. So I was like, this is kind of like fresh start. Let's just go back to nothingness, and let's just go, right, where are we going to go from here? And that was probably the moment in which I went, I need to be responsible for me, and I need to be responsible for the earnings that I make. And so I started to think about, we'll just track back. Parents have always said to me about like, make, do, amend and fix, and keep things going for as long as they can, which is great advice, because it gives you the idea of looking after things. It helps you to take care of the things. I've just said that. Take care of the things that you've got, but also to make them last as long as they can. So you're not like fast fashion is now.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
oh, that's a good T-shirt.
Chuck
It's
it
not
in
much. I'll
chuck it
buy
in the
that,
bin,
and then
yeah.
suddenly you got 50 T-shirts, and you like I still not got good at that. But anyway, so parents were great in that sense of kind of like helping me build my work hard. make the monies and do your thing. But then I kind of have just slipped off and not done so well. I do this now. I've gone into a really weird tangent conversation about and we're probably in 2002.
Was the question where you got that T-shirt from?
Yeah, it was. It was, wasn't it? Yeah. Yes, I told you we'd be talking for ages, man. Have we got 4 hours, have we, on this one?
So when did you, in Henry's intro, when did you get into photography?
Right, so
you
photography,
got one of your paychecks, you bought
that
a
was the
camera?
one, yeah. I didn't know that photography was going to be my future, but I always thought photography for me is something where I can just go, snap, there's my memory, I like that, I want to be able to remember that in years to come. And I didn't know just how good that would be in the future. The future me, looking back, as in me now looking back to him going, damn, that was a really good thing, because it does link in with fighting and being a bit aggy and a bit aggressive with because I was upset. And I think that goes back again to childhood, parents splitting up and, your education's not good. And of course, I'm not blaming my parents for my situation. I'm saying they added to where I'm at.
Makes you who you are.
So I ended up going bankrupt and then getting beaten up myself, quite badly, suffering head concussion, which made my memory even worse than it kind of was. I wasn't great at remembering things. That's why I could never do well on tests, I think, because it was just I can't remember that thing. I know you look now and you're like, well, it's okay because it's right there. I can easily get that, which I couldn't go into in the future in our interview. But memory tests and stuff was hard. But then with me getting beaten up and me having no money and me being absolutely kind of just totaled on, what's life? What am I doing? Thankfully, I was living with my mum at the time. And so she proper looked after me and proper helped me go through bankruptcy. We talked loads. We really did kind of get through everything we needed to get through. And got to the point where I'm like, right, it was about 6-7 months in and I'm going to have to change. I need to do something. It's even worse than it was when I'd first had this fight with this lad, and it's I need to get out of the office world. I need to change what life is like. Now it's you thought it was bad then. Now you've got nothing left. No job, no future, no people. You have people around you, but there's no freedom. So, so anyway, it was kind of right, what we're gonna do. I didn't do this in my brain, but I'm resilience kicks in, and it's survival mode. So what am I going to actually do now? I'd also, at the time of having my car written off and not paying the debts on that, I'd bought another cheapo car and just been it was a Vauxhall Nova 1.3 SR. Absolutely loved it. Tried to put 17-inch rims on it. Nope, it was rubbing on the arches. I couldn't afford to get them rolled. It was just it was my little runaround car, and it was class because it was just mint, let's go. This is getting me back around and stuff. What was the point of this one? Why was I talking about the car?
Start of photography.
You had nowhere to go.
That's right, I got my driving license taken off me because I was speeding, because I was you got a car now and I can just razz around. And then I was doing 40 in a 30 mile an hour zone, and then went to the magistrate's court representing myself and said, look, you've done your calculations wrong. It wasn't 40 miles, because he'd said, you did 70 miles an hour, the police officer. I'm no, I didn't. If you look at the calculations, maximum I was doing was 38 miles an hour or something with the calculation. You've made a mistake. I'd admitted, though, in again, stupidity, I'd admitted to the magistrates when they said, so how fast were you going? I says, well, maybe maximum 40. Oh, so there you go. You've done 40 in a 30 zone, so 6 points on your licence. Thank you, we'll take that back again. So, licence revoked. And I'm right, I'm a cyclist now then. So I bought myself a little bike and I was riding. And I'm riding everywhere. And York's a great town for riding. Great infrastructure. People are quite nice as far as they accept that people are on the road. So they give you a bit of space and it's lovely. And York's very picturesque and gorgeous, and there's tourism. So you don't get aggy kind of people just get in there, effing cycling. What you do? I'm saying this is Darlington, man. This has been the change. But anyway,
I've seen one of your videos. Have you got a GoPro on your helmet, or
it's too much hate? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it someone was cutting you up?
was it the woman in the white car?
Yeah.
Coming up to the lights and she just like aggression. It's so we'll get onto that. But so I was a cyclist, which I love how like life just seems to take its own way. But so I've lost my license. I've been bankrupt. I haven't really got a job, and now I'm just riding around. And at the time, breakdance was my thing. Like I started breaking when I was actually 16 when I first started breaking, and that was in York. I'd done a little workshop with two guys from Leeds, Sean Clark and anyway,
insert name here.
Yeah, I know. Well, Roy. Oh man, brain.
Well,
there you go.
yeah.
So this is pure example of like why my brain is a bit messed up, which is why photography is great. So anyway, did a bit of breaking, learnt breaking, and then I'd sort of got quite good at it. Wasn't really competing, but I was quite good at like being able to share this, what I've learned, I'm going to share with other people. So I was teaching a few people and then got a job in a youth club, and then we were doing breakdance in the youth club, and it's just like, this is great. We created back then the York Breakdance Hip Hop Club, and we took it on ourselves as a group of dancers, and we ran the place ourselves, and it was great. So it was kind of like, that was nice. That was always my little sideline, and I'd got a job with York City Council as a dance teacher, and I was teaching at a school, and that was my Saturday job, because my day job, which now doesn't exist, well, that had now gone, but I was still carried on with my Saturday job, teaching dance. And so I was working 1 day a week, no money, claiming housing benefits and living in one room in a shared house, and like crazy times. But survived and did all right, and actually went, okay, I need to change. And so we're back to like this whole like this point at which we're going, I need to change, I need to start, and I need to do something different. And I've always loved photography ever since my first paycheck from Terry's Chocolate Factory. I went, right, I am buying a camera. I want to buy a camera. And it was the days of cameras where film, and it's like, it's so expensive to learn. And stupid me puts about 10 rolls of film through, gets them all developed. I'm like looking at the pictures going, well, what settings did I use? That's a nice picture. What did I use? What did I do?
Yeah.
Did I go and ask anybody? No, I just carried on practicing.
Trial and error.
I like the look of that. The thing in there is about the middle, so I need to make sure it's that, and my focus is all right. Like, this is the time before autofocus, before auto anything. It's like you had to work everything out.
Yeah.
And it was like $5.99 for your film to get delivered. So 60 quid on 10 rolls, plus the cost of the film itself. It was an expensive thing, but at that time, working at Terry's Chocolate Factory for that 1 month, it was like, yes, rolling in it, let's go, we're going to do this. But then over time, I'd learned how to use the kit in the right way and getting the right sort of results from what I wanted to do. But it was always kind of like my little sideline. It's the thing I like to do. But I never thought I would ever put it into my main business and what it is that I was going to do for the future. So two-pronged in the way that my future kind of went forwards was I'd lost my driving license and I'm riding a bike. And so I'm riding around York. Sorry if it's a little bit jumpy, but anyway, we're not timelining here. No. I'm riding around, seeing this guy in this big trike, cargo trike, and I'm like, oh, that's mint. I've seen you around. I've seen you around. What is, like, this company's great. Are there any jobs going? Because I would love to do what you do. And it's like this moment of fate where Jason turned around to me. Now, Jason, he'd like stupid long hair, big, massive, like, you know, the stretchy ears on the earrings. I'm like, a little bit scary, but look, he's the loveliest guy ever. And I'd said to him, got any jobs going? He says, oh, you're lucky. Mick, who owns the company, is looking for someone. So I went to meet him. And when we sat and had coffee's life as well, by the way, as well as pizza, sitting having coffee, and it's like, I really, really want to do this. I'm an office guy. I've worked at the chocolate factory. That's not my life. This is not what I'm into, but I love riding. And of course I love riding because I had to ride now. I didn't have my driving license and I couldn't take my test for 12 months or something.
Yeah.
And so he was like, right, let's start here. So I literally got a job as a cycle courier, riding around Darlington, which was like the most gorgeous, beautiful job ever. They say that the cycle messengers, the cycle couriers are the last of the bohemians. It's like you're living a life, and it's just like, you're doing work, you're delivering, but you're just absorbing life, and you're just taking it. And it was like, my day was starting maybe at 8 o'clock. We'd do like a DX run, which is an underground sort of like mail system. You might even use it, or you've probably used it in the past, where you've got like a box, and you would do that run to 6 or 7 different solicitors, and maybe some other places, the courts. And then there would be this gap of about an hour between DX, early mail run, and then offices opening. And so that was my like start of my coffee journey. There was a place in York called Amici's. It was a small little place, and it was gorgeous because it was like so comfortable, the music was dope, and the coffee was absolutely class. And it was like, this is beautiful. I'm at work, I've done a bit of work, and now I can chill for an hour, and I can take it in, and I can absorb it, and I can just be like, and life was just like slowly starting to get that little bit better. I'd got a job doing something I love to do through a bad vibe of a situation. This is a really bad situation. I've lost my driving license. Life ending. No, it isn't, man. It totally opened up opportunities for me. And so got a job as a cycle courier, living life just like doing various deliveries here, there, and everywhere. It was quite traditional messenger stuff, so it was just a backpack and a road bike riding around. Life was mint. And kind of just carried on like that and built back up to who I was. But at that same time, I bought myself a digital SLR camera. So I'd been doing film all this time since 1998, all the way up to 2005. And I thought, right, I'm going to invest in the new technology now. And this is how bad it is, right? The camera that I bought in 2005 was 6 megapixels. What's your phone? 128 megapixels, 64 megapixels. And you're just like, 20 years' time, the thing that's in your pocket has got the power of 10 of mine, whatever. And so that was my first kind of like foray into the digital world. And it was great because kind of like if you could draw a graph of me and my photography kind of like skill going like this. And it's just like this little lovely line of kind of what you'd expect on a learning journey. And then I got digital and I'm like, boom, it jumped like that. Oh, this is life. Like I can get my results. I can see what I'm doing wrong, and then I can fix it straight away. Yeah. As much as I knew what I needed to do, I was kind of like educated in my film ways to go, oh, this is great. I'm gonna smash it. This is mint. So with the breaking side of stuff, I was in the dance scene. I then started getting trains to Leeds, and I was doing Fresh Jive, and it was like a regular monthly gig where there was dance battles. It was popping, locking, breaking. There was even like dress up competitions, and it was class. So I kind of worked because I then had my digital photography. That meant that I could then go, I can do more high action. I don't have to wait for my shot anymore. Yeah. I can go, right, I'll capture the action. Autofocus meant I can just track the person.
So at this point, Scott, was it a hobby, or were you being paid to do it, or was it?
This is how I became. Yeah, I became professional, and I kind of constitute being professional as being paid for something.
Yeah.
So the first pay I got was from Fresh Jive, who had said, "Bring your camera, we'll give you some money, take some pictures at this gig," and I'd done it for months, and then finally I got paid, and I'm like, "Oh my days." This could be the future for me, that I could actually get paid for taking pictures. The things that I love to do, I could get paid for it.
And then from there, you've done, was it BMXing you've done as well?
No,
or was that?
No, I've done, so the things that I love to do are cycling, eating,
drinking coffee.
Drinking coffee, definitely drinking coffee. What else do I like to do? Have I said eating yet?
Yeah. Photography.
Breakdancing.
Yes, right. So dance, cycling, photography, eating, and drinking coffee. They're like that's the things I love to do. That I would probably just live the rest of my life doing.
Bro.
Yeah. So sorry if I've gone a bit too far on, but 2005 was this kind of like pivotal point in life
and
where I was
you literally reinvented yourself.
Yeah. From being so low, so down there.
Yeah.
Like from like literally, you think you're at the bottom. And it was a point where I was in this room in this house, and then if I'd have not claimed housing benefit, and I think it was £60 a week or something. It wasn't a lot of money, but if I'd have not been able to claim that, I probably could have gone back to my parents, but then it's like, but then I'm even further back to square one. I'd already moved out and I'd done the thing. But yeah, it was this change. It was this big changeover.
So you started getting paid for photography doing the break dancing.
That's right, yeah.
And then sort of how did it evolve from there? Was it...
That was a bit of a slow burner because I'd done various different things for people. We'd done a lot of I'd done some gig photos, if it was like hip hop nights in York or hip hop nights in Leeds, or the dance events, or even some of the stuff I did for your break dance. I would do that for me, but it would help with kind of like pushing what we were all about. Getting paid for doing photography, I wasn't like, right, I'm a pro and it's my 100%, I'm going all in. I kind of knew because of what I'd experienced in the past where eggs in one basket, I've got a job, I've got all this debt and I need to just keep it going like this. I'm like, I need some sort of what's the word when you diversify? You need to have things elsewhere to deal with, that you can then go, oh, well, if that one doesn't quite work, I've at least got this one as a backup. So being a cycle courier was mint, and I was doing that as my full-time job. And then I was doing bits of photography as a sideline. 2006, well, actually late 2005, just after Christmas, so we're coming early 2006, Mick was like, tried so hard, but we can't keep doing work anymore because there's just not enough to go around. Of course, I'm sat for an hour in the morning drinking coffee, and I'm getting paid for drinking coffee, which was great, but it's not sustainable as a business, is it? So got made redundant from there, and I kind of was a bit like, oh no, I'm back to it again now, Anna. What am I going to do? So thankfully, Greenlink was the company I was working for in York, had actually set up a Greenlink in Darlington, which is what kind of has pulled me here. And there was a chance for me to come and work in Darlington. Now, working for Greenlink as it was, just as an employee, just coming up, getting the train, going home. And it was like, this is quite good. We're talking early 2006. The guy who was working here was leaving, he was going off on his travels, and there was an opportunity to come and be a courier in Darlington. Never really been to Darlington in my life. And I remember the first time I got off the train, and I came down, and I came out of the Victoria Road entrance, and I was like, oh, this is beautiful. How gorgeous is this place? Look at all the buildings, and I love how straight that's... And I was blown away by Darlington, and I absolutely loved it. Weeks on, as I'd done the job further on, getting to know the town and seeing all the open green spaces, and I'm like, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous place. And from the perspective of someone that's never been somewhere before, you can really take in what a place is like.
Yeah.
People who live in York, like I used to, will be like, oh, York.
Take it for granted.
Yeah. What about, it's just full of, and then people just moan. Yeah. And you go on the chat room boards on everything about all the Facebook groups and, the bin collections and the this and the parking and the that. And it's like...
The tourists.
You don't, there should be a tourist tax. Anyway, it's great to move yourself away from somewhere to then jump back and go, and then so me working in Darlington and commuting and getting the train, back when it was £9 return on the train. Yep. Imagine those times, eh? Back in the days. You could buy a house for 25 grand. No, you couldn't. Not at all. So moving up to Darlington, I didn't move up to Darlington until later, but at the same time, I have this thing, right, where I kind of believe in fate. I'm not like Neo out of Matrix, who doesn't believe in fate, because it's like having control over your life, but you actually meet the right people. Matrix is my favourite movie, by the way, just because it's mint. Did you know, side note, it's apparently either a prequel or a sequel to Terminator.
No.
Yeah,
right.
The writers. Anyway.
We're gonna have to watch it again.
Yeah, no, seriously, like Terminator, Matrix, and it's so joined.
Yeah,
anyway, I love it because it's great.
It's now a good time to tell you that none of this is edited.
No, just going straight out. Right, okay, damn. Right. Sound as a pound, okay. What was it going on about? Matrix? See how my brain doesn't
I think we got
work.
to 2007.
No, we're not even there yet, bro. 2006. So 2006 was an actual like...
You
know,
said you don't believe in fate.
On the graph. Yeah, don't believe in fate. Thank you very much.
It's all right. Someone's listening.
But then... hopefully they are. I believe in fate and meeting the right people at the right time for the right things to happen, right? Yeah. So I had to go through fighting with people. I had to go through losing my license to get a job as a bicycle courier.
Wouldn't have happened then. You wouldn't have moved to Darlington
at all.
Yeah.
I had to have been taught breakdance to then start and take on the club and then meet the people in the breaking scene. That then got me full of like confidence to take photos of high action and fast and capture the. I've got that, got that. All these things work really well. So we went and did a show at Dance City in Newcastle as York Breakdance, and we went and did. It was like a Bollywood mashup. So we were doing breaking and Bollywood together, and it was the maddest dance, but it was class and it worked. I was injured on that day, so I didn't actually get to dance. I'd done some parkour and I'd done a backflip off a wall and landed really badly. And I thought I could do parkour.
No.
It's not my thing at all. We'd gone to Newcastle and then we'd seen this other group of dancers called Urban Chaos, and they're based in Stockton. And when I'd seen their dance, I was like, shut up, they are mint. We need to dance with these guys. Their energy, their skill, the idea that they did like a ballet. It was like a ballet street mashup. So the whole event was like this mashup of different dance forms, and they did this thing where it's like the ballet dancers were against the street dancers, and it's like, but then at the end it all came together, and they were like, I was like, oh, this is what dance is all about. Yes. So we chatted to them. We agreed, right, we're going to come up and we're going to do a show with you. So we did a show with Urban Chaos. At the same time, one of the partners, Kelly Heaviside, I had pulled her. And then so we got together straight away after the show. And then still 20 years later, we're together and married, and we have kids and dogs and a house and stuff. And it's like, how crazy is it that only through my dance thing and going to Newcastle, but being injured but still going, did I then meet my wife? So like that thing about fate, the thing about coming to Darlington and then at the same time as I was coming to Darlington for Greenlink, I was also coming to Stockton to dance and meet the right people in that scene. So I've literally been like pulled like magnet to this area. And kind of like I hold no bad vibes against Darlington for that, because it's been, I say to people, I kind of feel a bit stuck. I'm stuck in Darlington, and people always go to, are you still in Darlington? I'm like, well, I'm not in Darlington, but yeah, I'm always in Darlington. Like people think I am from Darlington now. I'm not from York. People always go to me, when I'm in Darlington, like chatting to me, oh yeah, thinking I'm from Darlow, and then they're like, oh, well, I'm actually originally from York. And then people go, oh, are you from York, are you? Oh, right, okay. And like, no, bro, seriously, I was from the dodgy end of York. And then I came up to Dallas, so I fit right in, so it's all good. And sorry, this is just literally a podcast about my life, right? We haven't even talked about Darlington
This is
yet,
good. This is great.
This is what people want to hear.
So tell us what you're doing now in relation to your job and Darlington.
So
how's that
This
connected?
is my 20th year, man. I can't believe I've done 2 decades of being paid to take photos and videos. And that, for me, blows my mind. It also makes me realise how old I'm getting, and but just how quick life goes. Now, with photography, what I'm doing now, I'm doing a whole range of different things. I've moved into video, I do photography, I was going to try and write a list, but I'll try and just reel off the things I do. I do lots of events. So, again, you can ask me to come. A lot of people will book me for a job. They won't give me a brief. They'll be like, Scott can come take photos. And sometimes I'm like, could you just tell me what you want, please? But then actually, leaving me to just do my thing. As much as you sometimes then go, oh, but they might want this thing and they might not want that thing. But I'm going to take my photos. But then every time they've gone, take your photos, do your thing, and have the confidence to then be able to say, just do what you do. That's so gorgeous to hear. To then go, I know I'm doing right, so it's all good. So I do lots of events, so a lot of town centre events. I'll have covered a lot of that stuff. I do a little small bit of press stuff. I do portraits. I do proms. I do weddings. I even do like product photography, but only on a small scale. I am quite proud of the fact that I'm going to say I've never paid for advertising for photography ever. I've paid for like boosted posts on a post on Facebook, but I've never ever gone, hey, you know I'm a photographer? Book me. Never once, because I always believe, again, in that sort of like fate, if the customers are there, they'll come to me and they will want what I've got, which then means I don't have to pretend to be someone else or film or photograph things in a way that has to be a particular style of someone else that's maybe 3 times the cost, but then they want to save some money, so they'll come to me. No, like they come to me because they want
you.
my style, the way I do things.
Yeah.
And there's various other things that I give added benefit and value to what I do. And it's not just about taking the photos. It's not just about that final end product. It's about the journey. It's about the communication. Even though I'm a little bit pants with my memory and my time, but actually, people get that. Yeah. I do believe I've got some neurodivergence as well. So growing up, one of my daughters is autistic, and the more we spend time seeing more neurodivergent people, you then click and go, yeah, definitely, I'm good at masking. I'm great. So I'll go back to that because that's quite important with like, I'm Scott Akoz. My real name's Scott Ensbury, but people just like, oh, Scott Ensbury, E-N-D-S-B, no, E-N-S-B-U, H-E-N-D-S-B, no. So I was like, mate, I seen this film, right? And it was a documentary about graffiti artists back in the day. And they were talking about creating an alter ego. And it's like something you can step into and step out of. Now that chimed with me massively. And I was like, I can do, that's a great idea. So I went through the alphabet. Okay, what are the letters I like doing? And what letters can I do if I'm going to be a graffiti artist? What letters can I do in different cases? And they look different in the different cases. They're not the same. And so I went through the alphabet. Mint, A, K, O, and Z. I like that. Akoz. Why? Because, I don't know, whatever. So it just like, so I came up with this name and I wanted to create something out of nothing. And of course, coming from a working class family with lots of siblings, it's like you kind of like, you're hardworking, but you don't have a lot to work with. So you just go, right, well, if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to do it myself. And I'll take it forward. So I created this little brand, Akoz. And like I did a little bit of graffiti. I'm like, I'm not very good at this. Didn't spend the time on the paper. I was like, I can't do this. But then got into breaking. So it was B-Boy Akoz. So it's like that little theme, that name kind of like has always sat with me, but it's been my go-to. I can jump in and be Akoz and I can come back and be Mr. Ensbury from York. No, really? Not that I would ever get away with that. So Akoz was born through creating an alter ego that I can just jump into and jump out of. Yeah. Building a brand around that has meant that I can treat it. It's a bit like, you know, if you're a director of a limited company, it means that you don't actually own the company. You're just directing what the company should do. Yeah. It's a little bit like that. Like I can direct what Akoz is all about and what Akoz means and what comes through as a product of Akoz, but I can always jump out and go home and be like, oh, back to Scott Ensbury again. Yeah. Okay, because sometimes I find that being a photographer, you're a performer as well, because being able to kind of garner some form of interaction and response and smile, or not even a smile, it can be anything, but what I need to get from you, because I've got an hour for this job and I need to get these things, you've got to get that performance, you've got to be able to bounce back and forth and be able to read people and stuff. So I'm a bit of a performer as well at the same time. So Nick, what was the question again?
I've forgotten.
Something about where I'm at. So.
No, it was Pizza Saves Lives.
We'll go back to that. Yeah.
No, another question. You talked about the town centre events that you've been involved in, photographed.
Yeah.
Talked about those and what's been the most enjoyable. What's been the best shot that you've got from?
I absolutely love what Darlington Borough Council and the events team have done for the town centre, because it's really kind of like it's ignited that kind of like, I want to be in town, I want to go to town, and I want to shop, I want to use it for leisure, and I also just want to enjoy the town, because I don't feel like when I come to Darlington like I have to be here for a reason, because there's always something to do, whether that's coffee at Echo 3 or whether it's going to swimming in the Dolphin Centre, or even to the theatre. Like, I'm not a theatre goer, but now I am, massively, because the Hippodrome is such an amazing place, but my missus is also quite well into stuff like that, like musicals and theatre. So, but I find like there's so much to do in Darlington that you don't consider is there, because people have this kind of block view of, it's just Darlow. It's like old town, innit? Yeah, it's got the railway line, but actually that's probably one of the best things, the connection. 200 years of passenger railways, isn't it, this year? And it's like that connection, for me, it brought me to Darlington through the train. And it meant I could be in Darlington in 20 minutes or 25 minutes, depending which train I got. And then I could be back home. And you can... so for Darlington, I know I've digressed on this one, but the events in the town have really kind of like animated the town, and it's shown off what the town is all about as well, seeing what's available, so people like the community are involved in the town, and they're not kind of like, well, the town is what it is, and like in York, it's more for the tourists. It's not for you, you little peasants, the people that live here.
The local people.
That's right.
Yes, I've seen you obviously many different events. Diwali, for example, at Indoor Market. How good was that?
Class,
just
absolutely.
an amazing atmosphere.
I know.
And just
Chinese New Year, which is actually this weekend, the 25th, is it? Yeah, the 25th. So they celebrate
the 10K
culture as well. The 10K, Pride, that's one of the biggest ones. Such an amazing, gorgeous place, and the effort put into Pride. Yeah. I don't think people realise the effort for all of the events, even Darlington by the Sea.
Yeah.
But like with Pride, it's such a massive event for the right reasons as well. Because the protest that should be, but people like. They don't realise the effort that goes in. Yeah. Favourite events, one that I kind of worked closely with the events team was the urban street event that's been on. So the skateboarders, the BMXs, the bladers, and the scooter. Like they have been some of my favourites because it's high action, it's cool, urban fun, it's really good stuff to watch. It's visual. Sorry, I banged on that.
There's one of your shots I've seen where there's a BMX. It must have been on a half pipe, and
I'm dropping that off today.
And there's like the clock tower in the background, and it's absolutely amazing.
I love it. Yeah, you can have one in the office if you want. Yes, it's $10.99 delivery.
Done.
If you want any copies of any pictures, just give us a shout.
Yeah.
Just done a giveaway. I had 4 pictures that I'd had up in my office. Just that I want to just refresh. So I thought I'm not just going to take the picture out, dump it, and then I've given 4 away. I did a little promo online.
Brilliant.
Right, which one do you want? And I'm just literally going to send you it. So, so Caitlin's won Ash Finley. Now, actually, on the side note of who was on, did you know that 2 of the BMXers are Olympians? Ash Finley and you see, this is my brain. I should have just said.
Just make up a name. I don't know many BMXers.
The people who have been riding in Darlington Town Centre have won medals.
Yeah, amazing.
Wow.
In World Championships and Olympics. Did he come second in the Olympics? Leave in the comments down below. Oh man, I'm so bad because it's only because I've done Ash Finley's giveaway and because I didn't go back far enough because I'm sure I've got anyway. One of the scooter guys actually won a bodybuilding competition.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's also what I've photographed as well in the past. So I think for me, some of my most favourite events are the ones that are high action, really entertaining. I love Pride. I love the like the urban street festivals, which have got that kind of like BMX and skating and all that. But it's good because as well, we brought DJ Woody, so we had DJing going on. We had the Wreckheads, who were Darlington based, and they did some breaking sessions. Urban Chaos came over from Stockton. They did some sessions. And I love being able to get the community in. Yeah. So it's not just visual. Like R&B Festival's gorgeous and it's brilliant and it's such a good event. But it's a very visual. I'm sitting, I'm drinking, I'm watching, I'm listening, which is lovely. And it's great to have it in an outdoor space. But I love that interaction with the community because the community is so strong in Darlington. So many different pockets of people all come together and gel. Yeah. And that market square, I know people are annoyed it's not got a market on there anymore, but our buying habits have changed. So much is online. This is online, man. Everything that we do in our day-to-day life, we can't go back to 50 or 40 years ago. Yeah. We've got to move with the times, which is kind of like that progression of seeing the town change. When I first came, it was the pedestrianisation, which was 2006. It was just coming up to the end. And I remember I was in Caffe Nero, which was above Poundland, I think, taking a video of the clock and the snow and all the... And I'm like, this is going to be good. Like, you can walk around and there's not cars. Yeah. And you could also cycle, which was a great boon for Greenlink cycle couriers. Yeah. And the change of the town has been amazing. And the investment that's been put in really reflects kind of like what you get back even just as a tourist or someone that lives here. I know life is very much changed, so much with inflation and the things that you're able to do and things like that. But But I do believe that Darlington as a town is really, really shining, and it's showing off what can be done with somewhere that you could perceive it as a bit down and out, couldn't you? Like, it's a bit lost, because as soon as, was it like York and Newcastle, like Darlington was the station in the north, and that was the place, that's where all the money, you look at the buildings and you're like, there's got to have been money here. Look at these, bar number one, above that, and you're just like, that, the architect that's done that, and Central House, and I'm just like, I love it.
We had Chris Lloyd on, chief features writer for the Echo.
Yeah.
And a very, very knowledgeable historian. Listen and watch his episode.
I listened to a bit of it, but I need to get some time.
If you go back to series 1, he will blow your mind.
Yeah.
We need to get him back on and just absolutely go on to the railway, I guess.
Yeah.
Go on to that.
It's going to be a big one this year with the celebrations happening.
Absolutely.
Hopetown, like it was always down to York Railway Museum.
Yeah.
Children.
Yeah.
And that was literally what people thought.
Yeah.
Now we've got Hopetown.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then it's just like, it's not just a railway museum anymore. No. It's a big leisure complex that you can enjoy different things and history. And I never liked history when I was younger.
It's interactive, isn't it? It's great for the kids.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Well, listen, I am chief clock watcher. I've got to say that right. And we unfortunately run out of time. Genuinely, I have absolutely loved just listening and understanding you as a person, because, yes, we see each other quite often at various different events, but we never get a chance to have this sort of one-to-one. I'm going to take you to Stable Hearth. Let's go. Let's book it in the diary.
Yes, and we're having lunch today.
Yeah.
Do they open for lunch, or is it like evening?
I should know that.
Yeah, sorry, I shouldn't ask the hard question.
But no, Nick and Gemma.
We ran out of time.
Completely.
We can't even have 5 more minutes.
If you want 5 more minutes.
Because I was going to ask you guys about like your progress in the town. Like, how has it been for you? What's been your favourite parts of seeing the town change over the years?
I'll let you go first.
we were both born in Darlington but didn't grow up. We were in Darlington. We were sort of outside a village called Hangton.
Yes.
But we used to come in for swimming lessons to Longfield School or to the Dolphin Centre sort of 2 or 3 times a week, plus playing rugby in the town. So, plus having a business here, we've always had the office on Duke Street. So, I think the main thing, the pedestrianisation as well. The thing that we're really passionate about is the amount of independent local businesses that are absolutely brilliant. So you mentioned coffee and Cafe Nero. Yeah. Why would somebody go to a Cafe Nero when you go to Echo 3? So we're just sort of, again, we're in a really privileged position that we've run sort of a well-established business, and we're selling properties and renting properties to people from out of the area, and we've seen probably more so over the last 5 years. People have just realised that Darlington is a fantastic place, but also kind of if you look at affordability of house prices compared to the national average, again, it's still very expensive to buy a house. You've got to save up a lot of money to get on the property ladder. But on a national average, there's so many people moving to the town, which I think is a great thing. Definitely. You touched on before as well about in York, sort of people from York being a bit doom and gloom. You get that in Darlington as well. We would love people of Darlington to be really proud about the town and to support the local businesses and to the events that are put on. Come out and support Pride. Come out and support the Chinese New Year this weekend. We're really passionate about the town.
I love that. I love to hear that.
I've got nothing.
Yeah, you have.
No, no. I think you mentioned before regarding the fact that you've seen it with a fresh pair of eyes. You've come to the town. You hadn't sort of taken it for granted. You hadn't grown up here, therefore it hadn't been normal for you. You've come here, fresh pair of eyes, from a beautiful city, and actually looked at the architecture, the tree-lined streets, everything that we do have, the history behind it all, and you've appreciated it. Whereas I think, as you touched on there, a lot of people who live in the town only focus on negatives. Yeah. But you get negatives everywhere. Concentrate on all the really, really ridiculously good things that we've got, and then all of a sudden you're going to enjoy where you live and perhaps make it a better place. Yeah. So.
One prime example of that is the Olympics and breakdancing Olympics and breaking in the Olympics. Who's the person you can?
Ray Gunn.
There you go.
Yeah.
Which it's in our like psyche, isn't it? It's just rather than like all the amazing breakers got totally overshadowed by that one.
I did watch that live, and I did have to say, is this for real? What did you think about it? Do you same sort of thing?
Do you know what I think? What an amazing experience to be up on that Olympic stage doing your thing in the way that you want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And wherever you are in your mind, you're dancing the way you want to dance.
Yeah.
And actually, she was in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was doing her thing, which is what dance should be.
Yeah.
Because we've been made to... Everything's a competition now, isn't it? You can't watch telly without there being a panel talking about what should be and what shouldn't be. But she was in the moment. She did her thing. And actually, she's probably boosted her...
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, her life from that experience. Yeah. So, but yeah, I definitely think, and I agree with you. Like the change in the town and how people perceive it. It's our jobs in a way to shine a light on all the amazing things. Yeah. So whether that's photo, video, podcasts, even showing off like you do an amazing thing with your videos of properties.
Yeah.
Like that's so far beyond like what people are like. Oh, I'm just going to swipe through Rightmove and have a look, and then boom, you've got real.
I've got friends in London. They're like, will you stop it? Will you stop showing these amazing properties? Yeah. Purely because they realise how cheap it is, or affordable in comparison. And
but you're showing it off in a way that's that. You know, we were talking. I know we're going over now. We were talking about like how you can't resist change all your life, and so you've seen how you can change people's view on estate agency, and you're bringing it to them.
Yeah. If you stand still,
booking for a thing,
in business or in well, if you stand still, you die.
Yeah.
Simple as that. You've got to always move forward and ultimately be ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Well, that's certainly what we try and do in business, and ultimately the town centre, team are doing a great job trying to do that as well.
100%.
There we go.
Hats off to them all for that as well.
Agreed.
Scott, thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed.
It's been class. Appreciate you having me on.
Cheers.